Silent hunters roam the world's oceans. They exist in hundreds of varieties, each surviving in unique ways. In the world beneath the sea, these are the ultimate predators. These are the sharks. This is the largest fish in the world, and it is a member of a family that includes the ocean's ultimate predators. These are the sharks. The whale shark is the largest fish in the sea and the largest shark. Its great size justifies its name, and so does its method of feeding. Like most of the great whales, the whale shark feeds on some of the ocean's smallest creatures. Its diet includes swimming crustaceans, small schooling fish, and plankton. The shark swims beneath the surface, engulfing enormous volumes of water. The water is filtered as it passes through the animal's gills, trapping the shark's tiny prey inside its mouth. This lethargic behemoth is certainly not the archetypical shark. These reef sharks are excellent examples of the classic predator. They belong to a group called requiem sharks. They are fast, fierce, and agile hunters. Many species of requiem sharks patrol the coral reefs of tropical seas. Most of the time, they glide indifferently through schools of reef fish, who seem surprisingly at ease with the predators. But this uncertain truce changes dramatically when the shark decides to feed. If requiem sharks represent the classic design, then most shark species are rather unshark-like. This 4-foot recluse is a swell shark. It spends most of its time hiding in small dark caves where sensitive eyes watch for edible intruders. One reason the swell shark leaves her cave is to lay this single 6-inch egg. Inside, a baby shark slowly develops, nourished by a generous yolk sac. It takes 10 months for the egg to finally hatch. The baby shark enters the world fully developed and already too large for most predators to eat. Sharks are found not only in warm sunlit waters, but also in the darkest regions of the deep sea. This ponderous 15-foot giant is a 6-gilled shark. It normally lives in the lightless depths near 1,000 feet, but occasionally it approaches the surface in the cold waters of the North Pacific. In the Sea of Cortez, one of the strangest sharks hunts the deep ocean at night, then returns to sunlit waters during the day. With the rising sun, hammerheads ascend the slopes of an undersea escarpment. Then gather over the summit of a submerged mountain, forming enormous schools. No one knows why hammerheads form these schools, but one apparent consequence is courtship and mating. High above the sea floor, males and females pair up. The male grasps the pectoral fin of the female and wraps himself around her. During this mating embrace, the sharks cannot swim, and so they fall. This is the first time this behavior has been witnessed. The embrace ends when the sharks crash into the reef below. Then the pair rejoins the school. Another reason hammerheads gather in shallow water may be to attract the attention of cleaner fish. The king angelfish is an opportunistic feeder, foraging primarily on the worms and crustaceans it finds on the reef. But when hammerheads approach, the angelfish does something surprising. The fish leaves the reef and boldly approaches the predator. It's a classic symbiotic relationship. The angelfish feeds on parasites living on the shark's skin and benefits from the meal. The shark profits by having the parasites removed and so provides the angel with safe access, even as the fish fearlessly plucks morsels from around the shark's mouth. Off the North Carolina coast, a shipwreck lies 130 feet below the surface. A half-century after sinking, the wreckage is now a gathering place for schooling fish and migrating predators. These are sand tigers, one of the fiercest-looking shark species. During winter and spring, schools of sand tiger sharks gather over the sand near the wreck. Sharks don't have gas-filled swim bladders like other fish and will sink if they stop swimming, except for sand tigers. They maintain neutral buoyancy by swimming to the surface and swallowing air. The scars on the face of this female may indicate why the sharks gather here each year. The injuries are probably inflicted during the violent courtship between males and females. The ocean floor around the shipwreck is littered with shark teeth, possibly dislodged as males bite and hold females during mating. Near the shipwreck, a surprising relationship exists between the sharks and small schooling fish. Instead of fleeing from the sharks, some fish actually seek out and gather around the predator. Ironically, they do this for protection. The tiny fish are too small to qualify as prey for the shark, and larger fish, like this amberjack, are hesitant to attack prey that hovers so close to the shark's fierce teeth. The shark often seems irritated by the flashing swarm, but try as she might, she is unable to shake off her crush of tiny followers. At night, sand tigers become nocturnal hunters. Shrouded in darkness, they move slowly over the bottom, probing the wreckage for hidden prey. On the coral reef, parrotfish take whatever shelter they can find and pass the dark hours in restless sleep. Most sharks are nocturnal, and this reef is patrolled by hundreds of white-tip reef sharks. The sharks search the reef, alert to the smallest movement or faintest odor of prey. Parrotfish often sleep inside a mucus cocoon, which may help hold in any odors they may produce. Creole fish wedge themselves into the coral and hold still as predators pass. Most of the time, sleeping fish remain undiscovered by the hunters, but occasionally, the shark's acute senses prevail and death comes suddenly. In this way, sharks cull fish populations for individuals who have grown old and weak or are injured. Not all sharks live in warm tropical seas or in the dark abyss. Many species dwell in cooler waters, and several spectacular varieties can be found in the cold waters of North America's west coast. In the water off California, a school of giants swims slowly beneath the surface. These are basking sharks. At over 30 feet in length, they are second in size only to the whale shark. And like their larger cousin, basking sharks consume only the smallest prey. They travel through cold seas with mouths agape, engulfing enormous volumes of water. Plankton is filtered out as seawater passes through gigantic gills. Basking sharks often travel in small schools, sweeping the sea like colossal vacuums. Also swimming in these cold waters is a shark of more classic design. Here, 10-foot blue sharks glide on wing-like pectoral fins. The sharks are attracted by an unusual phenomenon. Great schools of sardines and mackerel are feeding on vermilion swarms of krill, driving the shrimp-like crustaceans into tight balls. It's an opportunity not missed by blue sharks. Schools of sardines and mackerel part as predators watch for their chance to strike. The sharks have difficulty choosing a single prey among the flashing swarm. But once a mackerel has been separated from the school, the race is on. Slow-motion photography reveals the contest between the blue shark's speed and the mackerel's agility. But a much more unusual predation is taking place just overhead. Blue sharks are feeding on krill. The sardines have driven the krill into such tightly packed swarms that blue sharks can feed on them directly. Just how blue sharks can feed on such diminutive prey has long been a mystery. Until now. This is the first time this feeding behavior has been photographed. 26 miles off the coast of San Francisco lies a tiny group of islands called the Farallones. Here, the cold, wind-swept shores are refuge to great numbers of California sea lions and elephant seals. These are big animals. An elephant seal can weigh over 2 tons, and sea lions can grow to nearly 800 pounds. But these waters are not safe for even the largest seal or sea lion. For here swims the most powerful shark of them all. These waters are the hunting ground of the great white. At nearly 20 feet in length and weighing up to 5,000 pounds, this shark is indeed an awesome predator. Many seals and sea lions bear the scars of close encounters with the great white. This sea lion has been recently wounded. Given time, the sea lion might recover. But in order to survive, he must go to sea and feed. Now, a shark has spotted the sea lion's silhouette. After the first strike, the great white shark breaks off the attack, leaving his prey to bleed to death on the surface. Then, when the animal can no longer offer resistance, the shark returns to finish his meal. The attack of the great white is brutal and frightening, but it is inexorably part of the natural order. Without these sharks, seal and sea lion populations could grow unchecked, creating an imbalance in the ocean's food web. There is also a mysterious and awesome beauty to such predators. Their very existence captivates our imagination and makes wilderness wild. Though few of us would wish to meet a great white shark in person, we might be surprised to find we miss them if they were gone.